Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was kind of actually just jamming along to the music there for a bit. I haven't listened to our intro in a little while. Let me get the chats and stuff up. See if anybody's actually watching or not. Let's see. Let's zoom out. You don't need to see my face this big. Went the wrong way. It's weird trying to adjust things in a delay. Okay. The next couple weeks, I'm actually going to be moving offices yet again. Go back to old office that I had in the house. Wild cucumber appears. No, I have no cucumbers. I have a laser pointer, magic cards, audio stuff, glass of water. Okay, so this weekend we were at SummerCon, and it was pretty awesome. And SummerCon's an interesting event that has been growing. In 2018, it was the Geek and Toy Fest, and they've grown up. They're now SummerCon. So it kind of started out just as a way for people to come and sell, cards, comics, and toys, and then they invited celebrities, and it was funny because last year they had a gaming department, and it was like a couple of people that had designed games, and then like a box of Legos and some role playing games, or not even role playing games, some board games. It was a really sad affair. So the gentleman that leads up ETX Evergreen Tabletop Expo, which is a nice small little event. He said, hey, I'd like to come in and do more. And then I had reached out to him already. I'd already talked to the people at SummerCon, and we were like, yes, we'll hop in and help. Had another friend that was, he's off doing big, great things, and he got in contact to bring in a whole pavilion of like console and computer gaming. And next year, we're going to try to merge and do some cool stuff, and maybe do some live streaming of RPGs. Maybe do get a creepy vibe going and do a Dread or something live. And sorry to hear about the memorial there to Pulsar. I hope family is doing okay. And so everybody knows we are streaming currently on Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. And like I said last week, we picked up Rumble mostly because out of all the other things, because like Kick is coming up, but their entire services are on Amazon service web servers. So at any time, Kick could disappear because Amazon owns Twitch and be like, oh, you're a competitor, you're gone. So as I was looking around, all the little competitors to Twitch and everything popping up, all are using Amazon Web Services. It's like, hey, that's a great idea. Let's rent space from our competitor. So Rumble, a lot of people came over to Rumble when they started. They were all political outcasts from different areas, and if you go over there, you'll see tons of political shows. But live streaming and gaming and other content is growing. There's people like doing car shows and stuff over there. So it is as people use it, the more it'll become kind of normal. I mean, if you look on YouTube, there's a million things, but all the big stuff is all political stuff, and it's fun to navigate around all that. And you're like, go on YouTube to get away from this stuff. But anyways, SummerCon was great. We had a lot of fun. We actually had attendees come up and say, hey, I would like to run a game. We showed all kinds of different RPGs. Had a young lady that came and said, "Hey, I really want to play cyberpunk stuff. Like, I've read books and the like," and I brought out Cyberpunk 20 or Cyberpunk Red, and I showed her the older Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk the original Shadowrun 5th edition. I didn't have 6th edition with us for some reason, and Identico, Gaia Complex, and Blade Runner, and she poured through all of them. And I think she really like latched onto Blade Runner. I mean, she was like, I love this world, and she's like, I love how they, you're playing cops, and it was like, it's a noir game that just happens to be in a cyberpunk setting. She's like, yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. So it's really nice when we can, find the right game for somebody. So also this weekend, and we missed it, and I got to get a hold of some of the local game stores to see if they have stuff left over, was the Free RPG Day. So I really hope people got out and did Free RPG Day stuff. And let me jump on to social media. It doesn't look like our notification went out saying, "Hey, we're live." But that's not what I wanted. Watch me post on social media. Let's see, there we go. See, what is it? Blade Runner is the UR example of cyber. Well, so here's the thing. Everybody says Blade Runner is the cyberpunk example in films, and Blade Runner is not a cyberpunk movie. And it is a noir movie that happens to be a cyberpunk setting, and it's the one that everybody goes back to for that setting. But there were earlier examples of a more cyberpunk thing, and that's why many cyberpunk games have that noir feeling, whether in just most of them, instead of you being the police or the detective, you're the hired muscle. So you're kind of taking most cyberpunk games, you're kind of coming at it from the other side. But yes, there was a lot of tropes and a lot of setting and feel that every cyberpunk thing after it really borrowed from. Because they did what movies before them had tried to do, but they did it just bigger. And, the models and the sets and that were just amazing. So, again, super exciting when we can put the right game in somebody's hands. And, she had played D&D and a couple other games she had talked about, but hadn't broadened out to see what was available for RPGs and Cyberpunk, and it was nice that we were there and I was able to hand her a whole bunch of things. So, okay, let's go through, see what came out this weekend for Free RPG Day stuff. And if you did get some Free RPG Day stuff, let us know down in the chats, because I'd like to know what people got in, because there was some really cool stuff this year. Let's see. Okay, so, and our Avatar was, I really want to get my hands on this, because we got the Avatar game, and we got all but one signature from the voice acting crew that was there, because almost the entire, basically the entire voice acting cast was at SummerCon this weekend. The only one we didn't get was one of them is under active contract through Fox and Disney, and was told that they couldn't do a free signature for us. And when I'd finished getting all the other signatures, because we kind of waited till the end of the show, I had talked to them in advance. I'd gotten signatures at the end of the day each day, and when I'd gotten the last of the other signatures, when I went to go back, and I was gonna see if I could pay out of pocket for it, and she'd already left. So we'll work on getting the final signature for the Avatar book. I also got to hunt down the voice actor that did Appa. Yes, that was a human doing the so, and need to get a hold of local stores and see if we got if we can get our hands on these. So, Avatar, Dragonbane, which this is awesome because the Dragonbane game should be coming out here soon. Let's see. Random phone call. Go away. Do not bother me. Let's see. Root put out a little adventure, which is cool. If you've not played Root is definitely a great little thing to, great little game to pick up. Let's see. Swords of the Serpentine from Pelgrane Press. It's a gumshoe based game. Pelgrane Press also does 13th Age, if I remember correctly. Mazes, an introductory module from Ninth Level Games. Ninth Level Games does all kinds of stuff. Chris is a great game designer, and Heather has just done so much work because Chris is the designer, and Heather is like the brains behind the operation. She helps with the design and everything, but she also manages the staff and just every little business piece behind the scene is Heather, and Chris is in his office just like just pecking away at crazy ideas, which is also, I mean, just a lot of fun. So Level 1 Indie Games Anthology by Ninth Level Games, and if you open that up, you'll actually see. So the Level 1 anthology is actually super cool. I think this is their third one or fourth one. This is 4, I think. And we actually have a little ad in there. The folks at Ninth Level Games has really helped us out. They've been great to us. Some of the smaller, medium-sized companies have just been awesome with us, making sure we get stuff. So anytime, like Artel Saurian, whenever they make new stuff, they make sure we get it. Same with Ninth Level Games. Free League, their U.S. folks have been hooking us up left and right. So, I didn't know 13th Age. So 13th Age is apparently in a beta for its second edition. I really enjoy 13th Age. Let's see. Heckin' Good Doggos from Wet Ink Games. That sounds adorable. Quick start rules for the +1 system. 6 ready-to-play doggos. A full adventure for Heckin' Good Doggos. I'll have to check that out. Pathfinder, a few more followers from Paizo. Starfinder, Operation Seaside Park from Paizo. Heist at the Museum from Loke Battle Mats. The Lock Battle Mats, or I don't know if it's Loke or Lock. I think it's Loke Battle Mats. It's a system D&D 5th edition. It's a nice little battle mat. I actually saw it, and it's a nice little battle mat that anybody can use. It's not necessarily, it's fantasy. It's not D&D. It can be used for anything. Adventures in Rokugan, Storm Eel's Rest from Edge Studio, and Adventures in Rokugan is the D&D setting, but the cool thing now is, so Fantasy Flight, before they were purchased by it's a few sorry, it's not a few followers more. Pathfinder's a few flowers more. Helps if I read. So Adventures in Rokugan is a D&D setting, but before Fantasy Flight became Edge Studios, they put out L5, the latest edition Legend of the Five Ring, and it was gorgeous. But I'll be honest, I didn't really like the system. I didn't think it really flowed well. And the cool thing is, they were purchased by Asmodee. Asmodee was purchased by the Scandinavian company that's been buying things up like mad. Also owns Dark Horse. But and then they moved Fantasy Flight. All the RPG stuff is now Edge Studios. So and the cool thing is, they actually have partnered with Wizards to do all that gorgeous L5R art and backstory that they had developed, and they've moved it into the Adventures of Rokugan. So it's like D&D 5th edition, Adventures of Rokugan, Legends of the Five Rings. It's much longer, but it's great. It's nice because they're not wasting a lot of amazing product and putting it into a much easier to ingest system. Let's see, Animal Adventures for Steam Forge Games. Cobra, it's Cobra Con Fusion from Renegade Games. Anything Cobra, I want. In fact, I think the new Cobra book is on pre-order right now. Yeah, so the comment in the is no one enjoyed the custom dice for L5R, and that was Fantasy Flight's thing. They put custom dice in most everything, and a lot of people didn't like it. Some people did. I run into far more people that say, "Hey, I understand what they were going with, but I hate custom dice." Because if you lose the custom dice, now you have a chart that you reference so that you know what you're doing. Let's see. Taste of the Moon for Vampire the Masquerade, 5th edition. Piercing the Demon's Eye. So for DCC, uses regular polyhedral dice as well as... It's just making a note that Dungeon Crawl Classic uses D3, D5, D7, D14, D16, D24, and D30. Whew. And we were just talking about silly dice. But the cool thing is if you have the Dungeon Crawl Classic rulebook, it tells you how you can roll those dice without having those dice. Whereas, D5 is easy. You roll a D6. If you roll a 6, you just roll it again. D3, you roll a D6 and have it. D7, you roll a D8. If you roll an 8, you roll again. So a lot of these are actually just super easy to work around. Minus the D24 and the D30. You just kind of need to dig those up, but they're not hard to find. Well, and to Pulsar brings up that the Specialty Dice app that Fantasy Flight released, he says it's kind of meh, and I don't know if they're fully supporting it because it has not been updated in quite some time. Let's see. Monster Cards, Mini Adventures and Pocket RPG Guide for Dragon Shield Role-Playing. 1 monster card, 12 adventures. I don't know anything about... Hang on. I'm going to click on Dragon Shield Role-Playing because I know Dragon Shields. Is it... Okay. Fine. I did not know Dragon Shield was getting into the role-playing. I saw that they had I saw the Player's Companion at an event, but I didn't know they were actually doing a whole thing. Wow. Okay, this is definitely more than I expected. Okie doke. Well, hey, did not know Dragon Shield. I saw one of the players' things. It was kind of like just sitting there on the table. Like they weren't even like making a big deal about it or anything. It was kind of funny because they were hawking their sleeves, and well, these are Dragon Shield sleeves right here. So I do dig their sleeves. So I will have to look into these. Okay. Let's see. Achtung Cthulhu. Love that game. Operation Kindling from Modiphius uses the 2D20. Zombicide Chronicles from Simon and Guillotine Press. I need to get a copy of the Zombicide role-playing game. Dragon Shield has money to make decent products. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm on one of their weird email lists. They reached out to the library a while back, and I will have to see if we can get our hands on some of their new role playing stuff. I did not really know much about it, because even when I asked the people, I don't remember what event it was at. Even when I asked the people about it, they were like, "Oh, this is something we're working on," and they didn't have much information. But this might have been at Emerald City, so it's been a little while. And I think maybe they were throwing it out to go, look what we're gonna do, and now it's all in pre-order. So, Critical Foundation from Gigametric and Hatchet Board Games. I don't know this one. And then I don't know if this is. If you haven't played Mazes, it's a great game. Also from Ninth Level Games. Chris really knocked out of the park with this one. Let's see. RPG accessories. This is always a weird one to me, because a lot of people don't know that most of the stores actually have to put money in to get a lot of this stuff. So when you're printing off small little one-shot booklets and stuff, that's you can keep costs a little smaller, but all the little extra stuff, and that's why I get frustrated. So I realize that the stores have to pay for this, and the concept is you're trying to draw in RPG players, at least for the day, and go say, look, our store supports you. But I've been to stores that actually charge people for this stuff, or they force you, like, hey, you can get something if you buy, if you spend $50, you can get an item. And then you're like, you get one thing, and you're like, oh, let's see. Hatchet is one of the largest book publishers in the world. I need to look at. I forget all the publishers, because after Penguin Random House, which is one massive company, I always forget everybody else. The largest publisher in the United States used to be the largest printer in the United States used to be Wizards of the Coast, until they outsourced everything. Let's see. So, D&D promos and paints kit from WizKids, Avatar Black and White, Chow and La dice from Magpie, Elvish dice from Q Workshop. Q Workshop, I love their cool rounded D4s. They're a Polish dice making company, and they do some really cool stuff. But their unique D4s are awesome. Custom dice potion tube from HYMGHO. Dice bag from BCW, dice tray from BCW, and a dragon egg mini pin from Phone Brain Games. And if you've seen our stuff at events, Phone Brain Games was awesome, and they helped us make 3 pins. We've got our big sign-in book that you see at big events, our mascot Uzi, and our logo. And they gave us a crazy good deal to help us raise funds, and love our member that helped pay for all those, and I love Phone Brain Games for just looking at. They sat down with the three of us, the board members, going, what do we want to do, and like we were expecting one price, and they're like, well, yeah, we're going to come in way under that, and we're like, wow. So they've been really awesome. They make great pins, and I can't shout them out enough for the price and how fast they got them back to us. It was bonkers. So hats off to Phone Brain Games. And I need to see the mini egg pin. See, semi board games and graphic novels. Okay, I don't care anymore. It's all board games and stuff. So there's a few flowers more. Operation Seaside. the Cobra Khan fusion. So there is a book that's coming out for G.I. Joe and Transformers, and I think Power Rangers, that you're going to be able to play all three of them together. So, super cool. Piercing Dragon's Eye. Of course, there's no pictures of the cool stuff, but see right here, the 2023 RPG kit costs $169.99. So 173 units per kit. And then it tells exactly what they get per kit. So they get a lot more of the books and stuff than they get dice and stuff. So so I don't like that local stores will say, hey, you have to buy something, or they try to charge you for the stuff. I get that they pay for it, but the entire idea is it is a promotional thing to draw people into the store, to let you know that you as the store support role-playing. This one I was just talking to someone at Modifius about. So this is Worlds of Design. I think this is what I was talking to them about. Maybe this isn't what I was talking about. This might not be what I was talking about. I might be on the wrong article. I clicked on the article thinking it was what I was... I think I might be in the wrong one. I was not prepared to talk about this. We're going to go on to the next thing. Because, let's see. So, Pirate Borg had an awesome Kickstarter. Love the story behind it. The guy that made it was not an artist, was not a game designer, had never done a book before, and with his downtime from his day job that he was off, he would... Lackey says some of the stores with the bigger ticket, large items, because you saw that they got a lot of the books, but not a lot of the stuff like the pins and the dice. They did a raffle for those, and that would be really cool. I'm 100% behind that. Say, hey, we ordered, 3 kits, and we've got the free RPG Day book stuff for everybody, but we've got a limited amount of the pins and stuff. So yeah, okay, that's actually a really cool way to do it, and I'm totally on board with that. So with Free League, Free League after Pirate Borg, did really well, and Pirate Borg is out of all of the stuff they printed based on their Kickstarter. And I already knew, I told everybody about this a while back, but Free League has picked up Pirate Borg to be officially a Free League item, and you can go to the Free League store now and pre-order it. So if you didn't get into the Kickstarter or whatever, you can get Pirate Borg. Let's see, it'll be released on International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is awesome. That's very clever. And so funny because it's like, oh yeah, hadn't really done anything like this before. I'm gonna knock it out of the park with my first project. It's like, so how much does a pirate cost? $2, a buccaneer. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And then Free League, I missed this last week. Free League has a summer sale. So I always try to tell you, go and support your local game store, but when sometimes it's hard. If you can't support your local game store, support the developers and publishers directly when you can. So right now, time for vacation, folks. Pack your adventure gear and escape to a wondrous world. Do you want to explore the darkness of space, enter haunted forests, explore Middle-earth, walk the neon noir streets of LA, and solve mysteries in the 80s that never was. It's time to go on an adventure. Free League Summer Sale is live. So, and it goes till July 5th. And I will say, this Blade Runner box set is probably one of the best box sets I've ever seen. Lord of the Ring one's good. Some people find it frustrating because all your pre-made characters are hobbits, but it actually works well because it is a great way to get introduced to the system. The Alien box set's actually really good. One in Any, Tales from the Loop, Coriolis, the Saborum, which is a really cool world. So let's see, up to 50% off. Let's see what they have on their actual sale. Oh, geez. Let's see. We actually have almost no Mutineer Zero. We finally got the core book from them. And all their prices are in Krona. Let's go to dollars. I don't know what's... Oh, okay. So you can see what's on sale. So there's stuff that's... they'll have the line through. I guess I just picked something that didn't have anything on sale. Let's see, Blade Runner. Yeah, there we go. The box set. Oh, so this is the box set and book. $55 for, wow. You get the core rulebook and the box set. Then for a little over $55, that's a really good deal. The starter set is $23. Holy cow. And if you do the box set, the book, and the virtual tabletop stuff, it's $65. That is crazy. Okay. Yeah. That was not what I was expecting. Alien. Yeah, Alien core rulebook down to $25. Ooh, yeah. Starter bundle, $42. That's the box set and the core rulebook. Yeah, okay. Let's see. What else did they show in there? Let's see. Let's go look at Tales from the Loop. There's Tales from the Loop. Yeah, behold the power of the mighty dollar. I like that. The virtual tabletop bundle where you get the VTT and the core rulebook is only $30. What? That's bonkers. The core rulebook is $21. Tales from Loop is a really cool system. And then if you like it and you want to get a little more in depth into the world, go to Tales from the Flood. Wow, okay. So if you want Free League stuff, go see what they have on sale, and you'll probably spend way too much money. Behold the power of the dollar and the krona. That's the euro. What about the pound? And the cronut. Oh, that's something different. So Gen Com's coming up. All of our games have... I forgot there was a Tales from Loop TV show. I need to watch that. It's the lore behind it's cool. So Gen Con is coming up, and all of our games are sold out. We do need to raise funds to make sure that we can get there safely. I have money squirreled away, and should be getting there fine. Just want to make sure that we get back fine, and then we've got a little buffer because we'll be driving there. So just in case there's any issues getting there, I want to make sure, because the first year we went to Gen Con, we shipped it. Oh my word! I'll tell the story someday again. What about this Saturday? Question mark. We are doing so. I need to post it on our Discord, but we are doing an inventory because we are a year behind on inventory. We probably have about between 4,800 and 5,200 books thereabouts. Guesstimation, because little modules. Our take up a lot less space, so they kind of ruin your guesstimation. But yeah, we're doing so this Saturday we're not doing Geek Extravaganza because we didn't get asked in a timely manner, and I'd already planned with another member of the board to do inventory because we were so far behind on it. We need to get ahead and make sure that we kind of rotate what we were taking to events. We're taking a lot of the same stuff over and over again because it's in what is already inventoried. So we've got about 2,800 unique books, I think it is. Actually, I can look real quick. We got about 2,800 unique books inventoried, and we've got between, like I said, I think it's 4,800 and 5,200 more books that we have to inventory. So I want to make sure that we're taking the proper stuff to Gen Con with us this year, and we're rotating stock, and we have not. It's been months since our technology officer and myself got out there, and we're the two that have been doing most of it. Eric has come out on almost all of the inventory days, and we've had a couple other people come out. So we've got a couple people that say that they're good with data entry, and once we get through a big chunk of what's left, data entry is going to be because right now we can scan books and it'll print out a sticker that we put on the back of the book that gives us codes that we can scan in and out and are in the system. But once we get to the unscannable stuff that does have an ISBN, we can put those in and hopefully search, and then move and print those out. But then we're going to get to the point where we have stuff that doesn't have ISBNs, and some of that is just really old stuff. Some of it's the more obscure stuff, and some of it is all of the indie stuff that's been coming out the last few years that has no ISBN because they just did a handful of print-on-demands. Hey, I printed 200 copies of this game. Well, there were only a couple hundred copies that went out, and we have one. Now we have to input it, and hopefully, when we input that, I believe the software we use also shares the information back up. So fingers crossed with that, but it's so much work. So that is where we're at. I asked some people that see if they were going to be free next Saturday to see if they could take a small chunk of the library up, but everybody that was interested that I talked to isn't free on that weekend. So it just happens to be, it's leading into a holiday weekend. So there's the people that were interested are leaving out of town. So it's kind of at a odd time, and I personally did not get the email about it until way too late. So okay, so talking about getting to Gen Con, like I said, we definitely need to do some fundraising to make sure that we're covered. But start looking, if you're going to Gen Con or you're interested in Gen Con, a lot of things are sold out because if you don't know, conventions like Origins and Gen Con, everything is planned. When you go, you have your entire weekend planned. Ever from the show open to show close, every day. So you can look and see what's available. And the cool thing is there's going to be a lot of stuff announced. I didn't know that Renegade was going to be making Robo Rally, which blew my mind. And Wizards of the Coast, the Robo Rally was part of the reason why Magic the Gathering got made. So I was blown away to see Robo Rally being made by another company that's not under the umbrella of Hasbro. So they have a ton of stuff going on. So Kids on Bikes, Kids on Brooms, Gods of the Metal, Ragnarok. We should be getting our copy of that soon with the record and everything. I hope that we get all that in before we go to Gen Con. Renegade just also announced, I think I briefly touched on it last week, but they are doing they're redoing HeroScape. So no pictures that I know of, but HeroScape was a really cool thing back in the day, and it's a really awesome thing. Yes, like Lackey said. So I said I brought up Roto Rally. I know it's not a role playing game, but it is one of my favorite board games of all time. Um, he pointed out that not only are they reprinting Robo Rally, but they are reprinting all of the out of print expansions. So let me go back see if I can click on Robo Rally. See if it takes us to the Gen Con page. So this is so this is cool because this is actually like a demo room that they've paid for, and you can come and play stuff all day long. So let's go. Row. Come on. So there's Robo Rally. You can pre-order it. It's $50. I'm a little sad the box looks different, but I guess it needed an update. I want to make sure that the minis look similar but updated to the original minis, and then you get the Wet and Wild and the Chaos and Carnage. These were expansions that like they were printed for like a year back in the day, and here's the cool thing. You want to play a bonkers role-playing game? This could be, you could pick this up and use these as maps, because they're, not saying I've done that, but yeah, so I have taken characters through Robo Rally maps in RPGs. It may or may not have been Shadowrun. Okay, it was Shadowrun. Yes, I missed the Phil Foglio art as well. You know what? I need to get him to sign my copy of Robo Rally. My favorite thing about Robo Rally is getting new players to play. And if you've never played Robo Rally, you plan out your turn. And if your droid has taken damage, or if your robot has taken damage, your first card gets locked in of your program, and you're making a new program every turn. And it's great to watch somebody with, like looking at their cards and like planning things out, and they start doing what we call the Robo Rally dance. So they're like, yeah, and it's hilarious to watch. I love it. Okay. The HeroScape announcement. So I'm actually super excited about that. I've missed HeroScape. Let's see. Origins just happened recently, and they do their awards every year, and their awards in gaming are actually a pretty big deal. Let's see. Retail Game of the Year, blah, 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 blah. Let's get down to RPG Core Rules. So it's Coyote and Crow, which I actually thought was eligible for last year, but maybe it came out maybe it came out just after the last ones. And I just, sometimes dates get all muddled. But Coyote and Crow is a really cool game. It's funny because I've talked to the people that were behind it, and I think that the core rulebook is too big, and they kind of agree. It's funny because they all kind of chuckle. They go, they were trying to put as much in as possible because they didn't know if it was going to be popular, and they didn't know if they were ever going to be able to do an expansion. So they were like, what do you cut? And that's a really hard thing to do. So it is cool that it is a big book. You get a ton of stuff, but it is definitely verging on the too big as a standard core book. It's not like what is Zweihander, where that's your core book and your DM guide and your monster manual, and that's a massive book, but that one's massive for a reason. And yeah, well, I know, and yeah, Coyote and Crow technically hit the shelves in September. But because of the Kickstarter, it gets in your brain much longer. So that's why I was pretty sure it was eligible for last year. But it came out via Kickstarter, didn't hit proper print until later in the year. That's the struggle with Kickstarter sometimes. And sometimes it's just I talk to people within the industry and I see product long before it comes out. And it's like, oh, wasn't that out already? And they're like, no, we literally just launched it. I was like, oh, damn. But Coyote and Crow, really cool game. I definitely suggest picking it up. It's a really cool world. So they took all of these, almost all of them out of North America, different bits and culture, and yeah, Lackey says they gave us a copy of the game at Gamma. That's why our brain is tricked. Pretty much, we got a copy from them really early, and and that's why sometimes like I see a book or I have a book available, months in advance, and then I don't necessarily I put it into my brain at the beginning or when I get it, not when it's released. So, Kite and Crow, I love it because they've taken all these lore and anthropological bits and pieces of different cultures throughout North America, and they didn't just make a role playing game. Here's a bunch of culture, learn it and go. They took those and it's like a futuristic thing. It's a like alternate future kind of thing, and it's done in a really cool way. And I was a history and anthropology nerd in college, so anytime that I can put a book into somebody's hand to get them excited about another history, another culture, and get them going, ooh, hey, I want to know more. That makes me excited. So something we're working on that we've been pitching the idea, we've been banding the idea back and forth past couple days after this weekend, is at events doing character creation sessions at events and doing like half hour like get your beak wet brand new player sessions at events, and I think this is definitely a really cool candidate, especially for the character creation sessions. Hey, let's sit down. We're not going to play. We're gonna sit down and make characters and get people excited, because it is a really neat game. It's a really cool setting. And again, the history anthropology nerd in me is like, if I can put a book in your hands to get you playing a game and get excited to go about learning something else, that's a win-win for me. Agents of Dune by Modiphius is won award for best RPG supplement, and I'll have to say Modiphius is killing it with the Dune stuff, because everybody anticipated that it was like, oh hey, we're just going to be playing on Arrakis over and over and over again, and it's like, no, they're putting tons of stuff out there. They're putting all the cool stuff that is you can play without ever running into Harkonnens or Atreides or ever touching the Arrakis, and I'm like, oh, that makes me super excited. I love what Modiphius is doing with Dune. They're doing a great job expanding that, and we've got a GM in the library. She is so good with Dune, and it's great because I like Dune. She loves it and knows it. I'm like, ooh, sweet. Somebody that's like way nerdier than me on something like that. And it was great watching her play with a bunch of people and just seeing them just leave like, that was awesome. Like, I need to go read the books now. And I'm like, yes. So not only did she get people to have fun, but now they want to go and read. Getting people to read in this day and age? What? Blasphemy. Opening books. Let's see. So this is a closed Kickstarter, but I wanted to bring it up because so this is Kobold Press, and Kobold Press has been making all kinds of cool stuff, and this is Tales of the Valiant, but it's using their new Black Flag. So they took the heart of what 5e is and made their own system. So totally independent of the 5e SRD, everything, and it's if you've played 5e, you'll be able to pick it up and understand it right away. But it's a new core system. It's their first book. They're just up the road from us, and they broke $1 million with a brand new system. So this is the first. Hey, we're not using 5e. This is the first thing out of the OGL, debacle, new core systems, and I'll be honest, I'm really excited about that. They broke $1 million. So hats off to you guys over at Kobold Press, and good on you. Look forward to other people picking up Black Flag and moving forward. Let's see. What is this? This is okay. Most anticipated games from last year. So, I'm not even sure how I do not remember opening this. I might have accidentally clicked on something. Okay, let's get into some crowdfunding for those of you out there that try to stay away from the crowdfunding portion. This is your time to look away. Look away, look away. Let's see. So, the world's first guided meditation RPG. I'm super intrigued by this because I have ADHD, and one of the best times I was like focused in my life was when I was going with a friend to a Korean Buddhist temple in the DC area, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna go meditate?" And like, "Oh, you can't do that because ADHD." But I had, it was a great time to just step away from myself and relax. And if you have ADHD, you'll understand that there are times that you just get so caught up in your brain. You're doing a million different things, and you never stop. Sometimes it makes it harder for us to go to sleep. And when I was going to that meditation once a week, sometimes only every other week, depending on what our schedules were like. I guess sometimes the friend I was going with, our schedules didn't match up, but it was always a great thing. It was a great time for me to just almost regrets. Oh yeah, somebody said Valiant is Kobold Press's original first system, and I get that, but it's using their new Black Flag. So what I'm excited about with it is it's that OGL debacle. So going back to this one, going back to the OGL debacle, everybody announced they're doing something. This is the first big announced, hey, we're doing our own thing that has actually come out in Kickstarter or whatever form. So, okay. So, for me, meditation was actually a really useful thing, and I really want to see this in my hands and see how it works, and see if it's something that maybe I could play with some people, and we could get some nice meditative sessions through gaming. I don't know how it'll work. I'm intrigued. Because I know how the Korean Buddhists worked when I was going there regularly. So I'm super intrigued how this will work. And I can kind of envision it in my head, but I just like also, the rules guy in me, the DM guy in me, and then the guy that's done meditation, all of them are going, how do I fit these together? So I'm sure the puzzle pieces match up. And they've done it, but in my brain at the moment I can't get the puzzle pieces match up. It's like, I know there's got to be a way to do it. So I do have to say, first created, zero backed. And a lot of people say that's a red flag. I think I clicked on the Gloomhaven one. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the Gloomhaven one, but it's not on Kickstarter. So it looks like they actually have the book already printed. Let's see. Come on. $2. Only support this tier if you're a reseller or distributor and would like to purchase journals and books. Okay. So, first book and 2 months of Inner Realms journal Journey Guidebook and Avatar Journal, including 2 months of free access to the Inner Realms Journey online platform. Okay, maybe I'm not so excited anymore. It's got a $75 gets you the book and a year of the. There might be more to this than so. I'll see if I can reach out to him and chat with him, see what's going on. So looks like they have everything completed. So D100 Sci-Fi Quests, a stellar collection for any sci-fi RPG. So, fourth created, 395 back. Wow, they've got the library beat on how many back. I think we've backed 70 things. Let's see, but they've done other D100 things. These are actually really cool to have. They're usually fairly cheap. So. PDF is about $4. If you get the PDF bundle, that is the D100 in PDF, 24 A5 zine features, 100 quests for your next sci-fi. Oh, and you also get the bundle of 5 other amazing D100 tables. So $7 American gets you six of their D100 tables to go from, which is really cool. And they're nice little zines. You roll a D100. So they've got sci-fi NPCs, derelict spaceships, side hustles, sci-fi criminals, and sci-fi bounty hunters. Nice. So, yeah, they've done a few others. I really like these things. They're fairly cheap typically, and they're awesome to have as a GM when you're like, oh, where do I go with this? Or you're doing a one shot. You can grab something like this and throw something together. Let's see, Dragon Slayer Village, Nomads of the Red Sands. Oh, dang it! This is freaking STL files. I looked at this. I was like, oh, cool. Did not expect that cartoon artwork to be STL files. Well, there are a ton of STL printable file stuff on Kickstarter and other outlets. I typically don't cover them just because there's so many of them. And this one's pretty cool. Well, if you're looking for a interesting dragon slayer village, here's some STL files. Let's see. Quantum State Light Edition, an immersive tabletop role-playing experience in the techno-magical world inspired by Western cyberpunk and dark fantasy. From Tampa, Florida. So, and they go over their different, some different mechanics and characters and the world. So, it's a little pedestrian looking of a campaign, but it is got a lot of information. Gigaheart. There's your Apothic. Your Cavalier. I do like the art. This art is really cool. Your Mechanic. I do have to say they got some cool art. So again, first created, 0 backed. £5 $5 gets you the scavenger tier. That gets you the quick start rulebook. That's kind of cool. Well, that's neat that they have a. Don't you hate it when the terrain misaligns in the printing? I have not printed terrain yet, so my terrain making days have all been like. Building things out of scrap pieces and sprues and soda cans and stuff. Yes, I've made terrain with Monster Energy drinks. So $20 gets you the Quick Start book and the... Wait. Looks like it gets you the same as the $5 tier? Let's see. I'm confused. Most of their tiers in the items included look like the same. Okay. Oh, I hate it when they do that. So the $5 tier gets you the quick start stuff, and then there's stuff in here. Oh, so in their explanation is where they put the extra stuff. Hey, if you're making a Kickstarter, in the items included is where you put all the things that are going to be included. That not in the explanation. I know because it happens a lot with first timers. And you're like, man, why is there so much explanation? But you're like, oh, it's the same couple items. Like, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. You're like, oh. See, this one looked kind of neat. This is it's 8 hours of horror soundscapes. So I love Dread, and I love 10 Candles, because they have mechanics in there that help you with a horror setting. And if you can get something like this, not only has this got the horror soundscape and everything that you can play, but and add to your setting, but it also has an audio horror role-playing game. So I'm really curious about this and think it's super neat. So, I mean, even if you just want to back it for the 8 hours of horror soundscapes and not even go through they have examples, which is cool, not even go through the audio RPG. Well, hello there, Fraser Valley Tabletop Games. Sadly, Fraser Valley, it's going to be no Shucks this year, so we're not going to come up your way. Maybe we could try to get you down our way for something. Let's see. Superhero-powered RPG, powered by Troika. I have not played Troika yet. We don't have a copy of anything that runs it in the library that I know of. I do know it's fairly popular, and I do want to get my hands on it because it is from what I understand, a fairly rules-light system. And here's a superhero game that uses that said system. No, Shucks isn't in London. I think they're going to be in London, but they're not having a Shucks. I just remember that they're not doing an actual Shucks show. Yeah. In Vancouver this year. So, see, $17 gets you the PDF. $34 gets you the book, and $97 gets you 4 copies of the book. $110 gets you a whole bunch of little pins and dice and stuff. Oh, sweet! So, if you're out there watching and you don't know Fraser Valley Tabletop Games, if you're in the Fraser Valley area of British Columbia, he's a great GM, and he came out to Shucks with us last year and crushed it as GM. Everybody that ran games for the library at Shucks did a wonderful job. Like, people came up to me and thanked me for the GMs that we had. So that doesn't always happen. May have just been, really polite Canadians, but it definitely shows that when people walk away happy, you can tell when people are like, okay, we're done, like, have a great day. They're polite versus like people walking away from the table like talking about what they were just playing, and you run into them later and they mention something about it, and then as the chief librarian, when you have people sit down with people that are representing the library and representing role-playing games as a whole, because some of these people have never played before, or they've played and it's been a while, or mom or dad is getting back in because the kids are kind of getting the age to play RPGs, and they're like, oh, what's it like now? And then they get a good experience, and you can see that you can tell when a table's having a good time. You can tell when a table's like, yeah, we're playing. I don't think anybody's had a bad time through anybody in the library. But yeah, Fraser Valley he's a great GM, and if he has been able to secure some a place to crash in the Seattle area for future events, I will be ecstatic to have him come down and share his GMing skill with individuals at some of the larger events that we have down our way. Yeah. Yeah, he says one of my sessions was with a dad and his 9-year-old daughter, and it was so good. I love seeing parents getting their kids involved, and super awesome. And one that I've loved in the last year or so is because people were locked down for a while. Now you have maybe the husband played RPGs for ages and couldn't go play anymore, and locked down with the missus, and she's like, well, would you like to play with me? And then, the spouse, whether, be a husband or wife or whatever, the significant other is now showing interest in role-playing games because they saw their spouse wasn't really able to play the way they wanted to. Playing online is nice. It's an option. I love having those tools, but it's just not the same as playing in person. And if you can get your significant other interested, and so I'm seeing a lot of indie developers that are starting to bring out 2-player games, because we've had a lot of smaller groups or solos, and we've kind of missed out on that duo type thing where especially you're getting your significant other into playing, and it's a great way, and I love seeing that. And I've been trying to answer that question at events a bunch lately. I need to just carry a list of all the ones I've been seeing. So love seeing parents getting their kids into it. Love seeing people getting their significant others into it. I love seeing significant others at least giving the try, whether they like it or not. Like, hey, my significant other loves this. They've been playing for years, and we're busy. They can't make it out to a game. Maybe because if you're in a relationship with somebody and you really love them, I guarantee you've done a lot of crazy stuff for your significant other over the years, whether it's you're married or long-term relationship or even short-term relationships. Like maybe we do some of the craziest stuff in short-term relationships. But it's great if you can, you may not be excited about the role-playing game, but if you can, play along and give your significant other some joy, and you may learn to be like, oh, this is badass. It says, Fraser Valley says, the one thing I haven't been able to do is get my lady into RPGs, but my youngest came to Terminal City Tabletop Convention in Vancouver back in March with me. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's not a bad thing that your significant other doesn't get in, because it's not for everybody. It's funny because my wife has only played a couple times, and she helps out with the library a ton. She loves how excited I get. She loves how excited some of the volunteers get. But she also loves when we have people to come over and play, and watching me as a GM torture groups of people in my house. Her words, not necessarily mine. So there are great ways to share role-playing games and the experiences. If you can find a way to share your enjoyment and passion with others, whether it's your kids, your relatives, friends. I love seeing especially teenagers getting into them and bringing their friends in. All the reasons why we do the the library. Just watching people sitting down to share spend those shared moments and make those bonds stronger. There's a reason why I love all my librarians and GMs. Okay, Gloomhaven Grand Festival. The Gloomhaven Grand Festival is here. We enjoy you to join the celebration. Check out the latest City of Gloomhaven for Gloomhaven, the role-playing game, miniatures of Gloomhaven, Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, and more. There's something for everyone. So, you have Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, Gloomhaven role-playing game, and Gloomhaven miniatures. Let's see, let's go to the backet, and we know that this is going to come out. I'm not necessarily worried. So you can just, get access to the pledge manager in the Slay the Bug category. The core rulebook is only $30. The deluxe box set is only 90, really? Because that actually looks like it might be a bunch of stuff. Let's see. The base miniature set is 130. The miniatures of Gloomhaven, it's all the miniatures, is 325. The ultimate Gloomhaven set, it's all the miniatures, the second edition game, and the RPG deluxe set is $350. Oh no, that's not all the miniatures. That's miniature base, and the big one is all the miniatures, Gloomhaven second edition, and the deluxe RPG set. Yeah, somebody said all the prices are cheaper than MSRP. Usually that's the way crowdfunding goes, but holy Toledo, yeah, this is, and they've got Frosthaven second printing, and then if you have a store, you can do the store. But wow, $30. I want to see this deluxe set, the deluxe RPG battle box, the deluxe source book, two tome of cards. Okay. I don't know I don't know their core system. It says the deluxe MSRP is 120. Woo, yeah. So that's $30 off. That's a third off. Wow, GM screen, element trackers, background cards, base modifier cards. It's actually a really nice looking book. Book only card set required to play. An expensive bestiary. How expensive is it? Very. But if you've ever played in the Gloomhaven world, and I know there were a lot of people like really Penny Arcade live play session for the RPG goes live tomorrow. Nice. Maybe I'll skip work and drive up to their studio and be like, let me in, put me on screen and let me play this with you. So I know that there were a lot of people mad because they were still getting a bunch of product out when they announced the RPG, and they're like, oh god, they're already putting the RPG out. And it's like, sometimes people forget, yes, we're pushing product A out. We're already working on product B. please don't get angry because, if you're not working on on your next project while you're shipping this one, you're probably already behind the 8 ball. Let's see. Our friends over at the Story Engine have the Lore Masters deck, and oh wow, hang on, what is Gloomhaven at? They just launched recently, and they're at 2.4 million. Nice. Okay, way to go there, Gloomhaven. So they are already at 10,000 backers. So that's bonkers because they're at 2.4 million at 10,000, a little over 10,000 backers, and 10,000 backers got Kobold Press on their recent game, 1.4 million. Laura's gonna. Yes, Frosthaven was a human malware delayed. There were a lot of things delayed, and it was very frustrating because there was a lot of things that were delayed because of that. And then when people were, the game designers can't get things out because of all that, and they're designing new things. Yes. Yeah, I know. I was about to say when I was pointing out that at the same amount of backers they got $1 million more. But yes, they don't have the minis and a board game and going, hey, we've got a $500 bundle. They have a book. They just have a book. I mean, and a 1.4 draw on just a new core book is really good. I'm super impressed by Kobold with that one. So this is a role-playing game, minis, and a board game, and they're killing it. So hats off to them. Let's see. So yeah, okay, our friends are over at Story Engine, and they just launched as well, just think this week with this, and they're over $250,000, which, especially on the backer kit, I'm super happy with this. The story engine stuff is really cool. It is a fun thing. I really need to pull it out and just play with it on stream to kind of showcase what it does, what you can do with it, and it's a really cool thing. I definitely have to start bringing this to more events because I really do dig it. There's a few things like this. 1985 Games has some cool cards that help you kind of flesh out. Like if you get stuck, you can draw something, and it gives you kind of a beginning, middle, or end scenario. And this does very similar to this. Really helps you build out some storytelling, especially if you're, kind of, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? So, $49 gets you the new Lore Masters deck. $65 Canadian for our northern friends. Let's see. Lore Master deck plus 3 Lore Master Mastery expansions is $88. $166 for Canadians. Yes, love seeing success within the industry. So, $114 all Lore Masters deck plus complete Lore Master expansions plus complete bridge expansions plus a bonus pin. All old and new decks. So that's $415. That's all the Lore Master stuff, Lore Master expansions, in a collector's box. 2 bridge expansions, Deck of Worlds, and all 9 of its expansions, as well as the original Story Engine deck and all 6 of its expansions. So yeah, when we met the Story Engine people, they've put out a ton of stuff since. They've been very successful because they had their box set in one or two expansions. So it was really early on, and I mean I really gotta get a hold of them and be like, hey, you guys have been crushing it. I mean, they're already at over $250,000 on this one, and they've got 25 days to go. So hats off to these guys. They were when I first saw Story Engine, that was a couple years ago now. So they are doing really well. Whew. I love seeing something that the library has said, hey, this is awesome. I've brought the Story Engine stuff to a bunch of events, and love seeing that they're really doing well. They've got so much stuff now. Because this is the it doesn't show a picture of everything. I remember seeing this, the Story Engine. And then they've got Deck of World. We talked about the Deck of Worlds. It was an idea when I talked about them. That was before I went to Ukraine. That was a long time ago. Yeah, world building with Story Engine. Another great half-hour session we can run at events. Exactly, and we are looking for more of those short things. And I remember playing with these a little bit on stream, and I've been wanting to do more and more with them. God, this gives me all the reason to go back and play with them more. So, again, hats off to this team. They are really doing well. Let's see. This is Neurovarden Tabletop RPG. Whew. Just launched, I think, this week. They're trying to get $7,000. They're getting a little bit of a slow start. So, GameFound is I'm loving GameFound. Still frustrating to search through. It's great to just peruse through, but it's really tough to search through. So, yeah, we're a father-daughter team. Aww. Adventure Slang Productions, aiming to produce original IPs and game system originating from a passion of writing, gaming, and fantasy. With this campaign, we hope to launch our first product, Neurovarden tabletop role-playing game. Neurovarden is a tabletop fantasy role-playing game of exploration and discovery, where the denizens of the new garden harness powerful manifestations to access unlimited potential. Inspired by action sequences from Castlevania, Avatar The Last Airbender, and games like Monster Hunter and Outward. Neurovarden is powered by our robust Fortune's D4 system and openness of the narrative imagination. If they've gone with a D4 system, I'm intrigued. Because we get D10, D12, D100, sometimes D10, D20, but not a D4. D4s anger people, mostly because they just roll poorly. And you should go back to something I said earlier. If you hate the D4, look up Q Workshop. They have great D4s. I love their cool rounded D4, and it's far less frustrating. Let's see. Choose your reward. $25 gets you the PDF. $35 gets you in paperback and PDF. $100 gets you everything you need to fully immerse yourselves in the world of Neurovarden. So, a couple PDFs, the book, and some tokens, it looks like. $100 you Monster Hunter. You get the rule book in paperback and work with the creators to add a creature of your own design. I love it when people do stuff like that. Uses a tarot deck to ask questions of groups during session zeros to form bonds between PCs and develop their home-based location and world around them. They use it for character creation and unsung tales. Their One Ring 2E actually. Oh, wait. Oh, does the library have a copy of Deckham by Golden Lasso Games? No, I don't know that one. I'm now intrigued. So it uses a tarot deck to ask questions of groups during session 0 to form bonds between PCs and develop their home base or location and world around them. They use it for character creation for the Unsung Tales, their own One Ring second 2E actual play. Deckham is the name. He spelled it wrong. Okay. Decuma. That is not what I... Well, everybody can see my key for one of the streaming services. Glad it goes away at the end of the event. Decuma, the RPG, the R&D for your RPG. Interesting. I like it when people bring up cool stuff. And I love it when stuff like this happens because, you know, we can't see everything. Like Golden Lasso Games. I am now intrigued. Darn you, I will have to look deeper into this. Okay. Humble Bundle. So, Humble Bundle didn't have any game books this week, but $18 gets you 59 books. These are all old stuff, so it's the classics reimagined. It's, you know, you can actually get access to all these books basically for free because they're all they're out of the public domain, or they're out in public domain now. But classics reimagined: Edgar Allan Poe, Frankenstein, Grimm's fairy tales. So let's see, rediscover some of the greatest literature of all time in this library of classics, featuring 8 gorgeously illustrated volumes from Rockport Publishing's acclaimed Classics Reimagined series. So some of these will be all the ones with cool art. I don't know which ones. So Read the unabridged editions of Frankenstein, Pride and Prejudice, the Gothic stories of Edgar Allan Poe, and more, each accompanied by unique visual interpretations by contemporary artists from around the world. You also get a collection of dozens of more classics works of prose fiction from Oscar Wilde, Charlotte Bronte, H.G. Wells, and more iconic masters. Experience the classics in a new light with help and help support little free library with your purchases. Yeah, so some of these will have some really cool art in them. It is really neat. So I love that, like the first 17 books, I think it is, of the wonderful of Oz by Frank L. Baum are all public domain now. The remaining, I think there's 72 books in total between Frank Baum and like his son, and then like family friends that his wife allowed to write for. There's the newest book was written in like 2005, so so like I think it's the first 17 that are all public domain right now. But I mean, some of these are amazing books to read. Some people love Edgar Allan Poe. I like a couple of his stories. They're fun to read aloud. Frankenstein is enjoyable, but is a bit of a slog. Same with Bram Stoker's Frankenstein. Some people go into reading these, they're going to be like the movie, and Frankenstein nor Dracula or anything like the movies as you read them, but they're great reads. Grimm fairy tales. I'm just going to tell you now, the fairy tales you grew up on are nothing like actual Grimm fairy tales. I mean, a lot of the old fairy tales are far darker. Go read the original Little Mermaid. Way different than anything Disney's done. See, Pride and Prejudice, definitely not my thing, but I loved it when they added zombies. Always love Sherlock Holmes. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were great. Love The Time Machine. The Wonderful World of Oz. It is far trippier than you know, and I do suggest reading all of them. So, Picture of Dorian Gray. I actually really enjoy that book. War of the Worlds, Little Women. I actually liked Little Women. Jane Eyre. I read that so long ago. I hate to say I don't remember it. Huckleberry Finn. I like Tom Sawyer better. Let's see. The Art of War. Actually, is a really interesting read, but again, not for everybody. Great Expectations. The Complete Grimm's Fairy Tales. Moby Dick. There is a long read. I'm just saying. It's a good read, but man, is it a long read. I don't know this Jane Austen book. Persuasion. Never read that one. Oliver Twist. Kind of like it. Sense and Sensibility. I have read it. Was decent. Haven't read Emma. Tom Sawyer. Like Family Opera. I'm not. I don't know, because I've seen so many versions of it in live or in plays or in operas, and I think that story was ruined for me long before I ever read it. Complete work of Sherlock Holmes. The Jungle. Man, I have so many issues with that book. The Scarlet Letter, really good book. Call of the Wild and White Fang. Oh, man, Jack London actually is such a wonderful writer. Last of the Mohicans, good book. Age of Innocence, good book. Alice in Wonderland. Oh, man, love that book. The Odyssey, The Inferno. 20,000 Leagues on the Sea, another wonderful book. The Divine Comedy, Fairy Tales of Hans Christian Andersen. There's where you're going to get Little Mermaid. The Complete Works of William Shakespeare. My favorite story ever written, hopefully in there, is Hamlet. I absolutely love Hamlet. The thing I love about Hamlet is one of the things that Shakespeare did was, because he wrote things specifically to be done in to be put on at the Globe Theater, and you had the groundlings, or the penny farthing, or the people that paid a penny to get in, and they stood in the front. So he wrote many things that would make the people that could pay for the better seats laugh, while also the same joke would mean something different to the people that paid only a penny to get in. And I love that. And it's funny because I love it when people try to argue, like, well, Shakespeare wrote this. I'm like, oh, you so don't understand why Shakespeare wrote that way. Because he was being very insulting when he wrote something, and you don't know that he was being insulting because you're trying to read it from the expensive seats, not the cheap seats. Because most things have double meanings within Shakespeare. But I love, the thing I love about Hamlet is every time I've seen it, whether it's in film or on stage, every time I read it, every time I've seen it, whoever's playing Hamlet, you don't know, like, everybody can give it a different take. Is he going crazy? Has he gone crazy? Is he pretending to be crazy and then goes crazy? Has he never gone crazy and everything just backfires on him? That's what I love. And when you read it, and as you're reading it, your mindset. So if you're if you're just angry at the world and you're reading it, Hamlet's angry at the world, and Hamlet is like super rational, and he's going to get back at everybody. And you're just like, it's so interesting that your mindset really dictates how Hamlet is. So, God, I love Hamlet so much. When I when I went to basic training in 2001, you were allowed to have one personal book, and it's funny because everybody brought a Bible or something like that. I brought a copy of Hamlet. I'd stolen out of my, I kept it from my high school class where I had first discovered Hamlet, and that book is still kicking around in my house. And I probably read that in the 7 weeks of basic training. I probably read that 4 times in basic, and I just absolutely love that story. Let's see. Le Morte d'Arthur, The Complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe, The Complete Tales of... I'm sure it's not The Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft, because not all of H.P. Lovecraft stuff is in public domain yet. And one of my other favorite book is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. See, The Jungle Book, that's such a good story. Legend of Sleepy Hollow and other stories. Washington Irving. Tales of Arabian Nights, great story. Time Machine and The Invisible Man, great stories. Tarzan and the Planet of the Apes was the reason why it took Edgar Rice Burroughs forever to write some of his other stories, because he took breaks from his other stuff, like John Carter of Mars, to go write Tarzan. So... I like the Tarzan books, but I wish he would have done more John Carter of Mars instead of Tarzan. But that's just me. Jules Verne, The Essential Collection, Charles Dickens, Dracula. Again, don't expect to read that and be like the movies. Emoji's Pride and Prejudice. Oh, I want to see this. Phantom of the Opera emoji. The Strange Case of Doc. Jeez, there's so many. It was the best of time. It was the worst of time. Uncle Tom's Cabin. So I had a nice long discussion with somebody about this book, and I say this is a perfect example of positive propaganda, and because this came out and went basically viral for a book. How we would think viral, and this went crazy over the North, and it was everybody was reading this and thought that's how everything in the South was, and it's not how everything in the South was. Slavery's bad, but it took every little piece and just cranked it to 11, and then it ran around the North. It started firing up abolitionists, and it actually put a fire under the anti-slavery movement. So I've talked to people who've done talks on propaganda in the military, and I always bring this up as a case of a positive piece of propaganda, because we always think about the negative aspects of propaganda. So when this came out, it sold like hotcakes to the North and lit a fire under people that had no dog in the fight. Like, oh, well, that's down in the South. I don't know anybody that has. We don't do that here. Well, then this book goes starts selling like hotcakes through New England. Now you have people going, oh, time out. Like, maybe we need to do something about this. So that's why I say Uncle Tom's Cabin is a great example of positive propaganda. Mostly because whenever, like I said, when I'm doing talks about media and propaganda and stuff in the military, everybody thinks all propaganda is negative. It's like, no. Here is an example of what you can do using media and literature properly to make a change. Okay, we are on our... Hey, what did you do? Oh, dang it. One of the... let's see, it was the Lex Arcanum bundle just finished while we were talking. Okay, Warlock and Warp Star. So $13 gets you Warlock Traders Edition. So this has 20 days left. I think we briefly this went live last week, I believe. See, Warlock Compendium 3 and 3 Warlock source books: the Kingdom, Rebec, and Buccaneer. Then if you go up to $25.03, you get all those books, plus you get Warp Star, Wondrous and Fanciful or Fantastical Adventures in Deep Space, and 4 Warp Star supplements. So, let's see, we got Battletech Shrapnel. $15 gets you the first 10 issues of the Battletech magazine. That one's easy. Let's see, Dark Eye Mega. So $25, you get Dark Eye. And apparently the Dark Eye is huge in Germany. So, Adventure Armory, Armory of the Warring Kingdoms, Magic of Aventura, Adventure Almanac plus map set, and Conspiracy of Mages. So all that for $25. And if you go up to $46.04, you get all that plus Adventure Compendium, Adventuring Bestiary, Gods of Aventuria, Theater of Nights 1 through 6, colorful 6-part campaign for the Dark Eye, Legacy of the Theater Knights, a vital companion for the Theater Knights campaign, and Dark Eye GM screen. So, apparently, like I said, a big game in Germany. So I'm going to have to reach out to see if we can get some copies in English and in Deutsch. Then we've got Epic Encounters, and this is from Steamforge Game. So $9 gets you 8 Epic Encounters. So you get Frost Giant, Goblin Chief, Hydra, Kobold Queen, Orc King, Red Dragon, Serpent Folk, and Snake Gods. Then if you go up to $21.67, you get all those, plus 10 more. You get Corpse Crawler, Crab Archon, Dinosaur, Dragon Turtle, Goblin Czar, Ghoulkin, Lich Empress, Lizard Thane, Spider Tyrant, and Undead Horde. Ooh, everybody likes an Undead Horde. So, well, it has been, and there's only 6 days left on this, so this is just a lot of battle scenes and fun stuff from Steamforge Games. Need to get, what was the book? Dark Souls. They put out the RPG Dark Souls. So, and so this takes us to the end of this week's catch-up on the world of RPGs. Next week we will show off some of the cool new stuff that we got over the last few weeks. I do have to say, one of the weirdest things that happens with the library, and if Eric is still there, if Lackey's still around, and some of the others know about this, we will get people to just randomly put books on our shelves. So we get people to donate stuff, and I love that. That's how the library's going. But several years ago, somebody made a nice little display out of our Vaesen books and gave us another core copy with a custom-made cover. So this weekend, I get everything unloaded on Thursday. Someone else finishes the library up on Friday. I get there Friday afternoon, go through everything. I come in. So every day when we're in an event, at the end of the day, I look through the library. I take a mental snapshot of everything that's there. And then I look again the next morning. So I did that on Friday. I came in on Saturday morning, and there was a new book. So somebody had put the postcard RPG book. It was not postcard, but index card RPG book, which I've been trying to get a copy of that for a while. Had no clue where it came from. It just showed up. It was not in the stuff that I put out. It wasn't there on Friday night, and I was there on Saturday morning. And it's funny because I've been trying to get a copy of that book, but it's basically sold out everywhere that has it. So someone was awesome in the library and gave us a new book. I always find it strange that it's not the first time it's happened. We've had several books just show up. It's so interesting that people will just put books on our shelves. And I asked Bill. Bill said nope, was not there. And then Bill, was amazed and said, I'm always amazed that you know everything. I was like, I put my hands on everything. I was like, I know almost every book in the library with the exception of stuff that came in while I was gone. But for the most part, I have most of the library squirreled away in my brain, and I can tell you whether we have it or not. But yeah, I asked Bill, asked Justin, asked everybody else that helped out, and now somebody just come up and put the index card RPG book up on the shelf, and it was there for the whole thing, and it's now in the library. So I'm excited that it's there, but I always find it interesting that people like to do stealth donations to us. It honestly is one of the coolest things, because they want to help out the library, but they don't want the recognition of doing it, so they're really doing it for all the right reasons. And it's just something I never thought would happen. I mean, I knew people would give us books and stuff, but I always expect that I'd have to go around and ask for them, or like, hey, if you're willing to donate, or hey, will you give us a massive discount on this? And I'm always surprised when people give us books. But when they just walk up and they put them on the shelf when we're not looking at an event, I just find that one of the most just heartwarming and generous things, because they're like, hey, I'm going to put this up here. I want them to have it, and I just I want. I'm hoping maybe they're watching somewhere else, and like, oh, he saw it, yes. So to whoever donated the index card RPG book at SummerCon this weekend, thank you very much. I know you're probably not listening, but you're loved. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope that you all go out and have a nice game with some people. If you're up in the Fraser Valley area, British Columbia, look up Fraser Valley Games. He's a great GM, and really enjoy having him, and cannot wait to get him down for stuff in our area. He's an enjoyable GM. Need to get with him and record a little, hey, you should hire this dude. And get out there, game with friends, game with family, make the world a better place through games. And until next time, well, the library is now closed. Thank you all. I really do need to create an outro, because this is really awkward. I know. I don't